If you wake up and remember a dream about being in the hospital or going under surgery, it wasn't just a dream, it was a message. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jesse Lyon, a licensed counselor who gives you the psychology behind pop culture. And most of you know me from TikTok, where I've made quite a name for myself as being one of the few counselors, one of the only counselors who puts out content about dreams and their interpretation, how I use them to diagnose and treat people's mental health conditions. And so if you clicked on this video, you had a dream about being in the hospital, visiting a doctor, or going under the knife. And it left you with a unsettling feeling that you want some answers for. So worry not, I'm going to answer that here today. And I'm going to do that because I actually just wrote a full blog article about it, and I want to add some extra context to it. If you're not subscribed to the email list and you're not getting these updates, go to visit lyonmentalhealth.com and just add your email address. I wanted to add a little bit more context here, but if you'd like free dream interpretations to your inbox every week, that's the best place to get it. So I'm going to skip all this stuff. I had some surgery, and so it got me thinking about like surgery and what that means in dreams. Now, the first thing that we have to understand, right, is that every dream symbol has both a positive and a negative side. I actually don't like those terms. I like to say light and shadow, right? Because like I have a light on my face that makes me look, nice for the camera. But on this side of my head, the part that you're not seeing, there's a shadow because the light's coming here. And so this part's in the shadow. Everything that is in front of the light is being seen. The camera is picking me up here and the light is hitting my face. That's like our mind, right? Every symbol that we have inside of our dreams has an obvious light side. The first initial knee-jerk response of what does this symbol mean to me? So I think hospital, what do you think? Healing, health, medicine, health, right? Things like that. The shadow side of the hospital, though, are things that we don't typically see, things in our culture that we like to ignore, things that we don't really want to acknowledge. And those would be when you're in a hospital, you don't have a lot of control. There can be a lot of fear. There can be a lot of death in a hospital. As much as hospitals, you walk in, they've got the pictures of Jesus Christ and sunflowers and, tulips and daisies, all things growing and life-filled, right? Running water, springs, bubbling brooks. They don't talk about, there's a lot of death in hospitals. They have to process a lot of people who don't make it. And that's an unfortunate truth to the shadow side of hospitals. So when we're talking about hospitals and surgery, we have to acknowledge that first symbol we're going to talk about, surgery, there's both a light and a shadow side to it, right? And so let's talk about the light side first. Dreaming about surgery can symbolize the need for deep transformation and change, right? We got to go in and we got to cut out something from your life and make a fundamental change. And that's what that dream means. When you're going under surgery in your dream, it's like something needs to be cut out in your life, right? Something needs to be fundamentally changed. Surgery can represent the conscious effort to remove or heal parts of ourselves that no longer serve us. It reflects a readiness to confront and resolve issues, leading to personal growth and renewal. Surgery dreams might indicate a willingness to face difficulties and emerge stronger. And so I think especially because that feeling of fear can stick with us so strong, we forget, I think from dreams, we forget the light side of a surgery dream. It's like, hey, remember, I know you feel out of control because of your mind saying, hey, we need to change some things in our life. But remember the other fundamental truth of dream interpretation. You are all people in the dream. So you laying there, seeing a surgeon, cut something out of you, whether that's a good surgeon or a bad surgeon. I mean, maybe you had a nightmare of an evil surgeon, right? Think that's a part of you too. You're not only the patient, but also the doctor. All the characters inside of our dreams are parts of us. And so if you're seeing a bad surgeon, someone cutting out parts of you that shouldn't be there, like an evil doctor, that evil doctor might be you. And you might be saying to yourself, no, Jesse, that's not me. Well, before we go rushing to believe that, well, yeah, it may be. What kind of situations do you put yourself in that are not helpful for you? What kind of power differentials do you place yourself in that are disrespectful to your own authority and autonomy in your life, right? How harsh and hard are you on your own healing process that you go right to surgery and you say, I'm going to cut this out of my life, I'm going to cut that out of my life, instead of saying, hey, it's okay. Let's try a more natural or patient or holistic remedy before we go to surgery and amputating a limb. right? So all of these things are metaphors for us and the experiences that we're having in our life. Your mind is not trying to give you a terrible nightmare to make your day terrible. Your mind is trying to give you this nightmare to say, hey, this thing that you've kind of not been paying attention to, the way that you've been treating yourself, is dangerous, and it's time to start paying attention to it. And that leads us to the shadow side of this dream. On the darker side, these dreams might reveal underlying fears of being vulnerable or exposed. When we're in hospitals, like, we're not wearing any protective clothing or any like really harsh garments that are going to guard us from attack. Like, we are laid vulnerable and making ourselves vulnerable on purpose for the hope of greater healing. They can signify anxiety about change, suggesting that a part of you feels forced or pressured into making difficult choices. It may also indicate a fear of losing control or having others decide your fate. The doctor's the one in control. You're under anesthesia. Anesthesia? I tried to say anesthetic and anesthesia at the same time, and it came out anesthesia. Reflecting deep-seated insecurities. Oof. Do you often trust or have distrust of authority? And that's what your mind is trying to show you. Sometimes we have to rely and trust on others. I mean, like I said, I just had a surgery. I can't do that surgery myself. I need to trust someone. And so I'm trusting in the hospital system. I'm trusting in the credentialing system for surgeons. I'm trusting the surgeon themselves. I'm trusting my wife who's going to drive me home from the hospital, right? There's all sorts of things that we have to trust, and that can be really tough. So let's talk about hospitals, right? Hospitals, like I said, typically a place for healing, but can also be death, right? Hospitals and dreams often symbolize a safe haven for healing and recovery. They suggest that you are in a phase of introspection and self-care, seeking solutions to improve your well-being. This is a positive sign of acknowledging your need for support and embracing the journey toward healing, reflecting hope and resilience. So that's good things. But on the shadow side of the hospital, it can also represent feelings of powerlessness or dependency. You might be grappling with situations where you feel confined or restricted, unable to break free from the external pressures. This aspect of the dream might hint at unresolved issues that require attention, but are being avoided or suppressed. I even think about the metaphor of the IV in your arm. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, when you're in a hospital, you're not self-sufficient. And so seeing yourself in a hospital can also have the shadow representation of you feel deeply not able to provide for yourself. Somebody else is having to put the blood in your arm or give you the nutrients that keep you alive. Somebody else is having to do the chest compressions to keep you breathing. What is it in your life that you don't feel like you're, one, totally in control of, or two, doing good enough on your own to be self-sufficient? There may be fears about that. Maybe on one side, fears that you aren't self-sufficient that are unbiased, right? Like, we all need community and help. But maybe on the other hand, you have become too dependent on those who are helpful and around you rather than living your own life and running your own race. Something to think about too. Hospitals are very kind of confusing, to be honest. Even the medical symbol, is that cross with the two snakes twined around it, right? And so even in that symbol that's been widely used for hospitals is this kind of suggestion that, snakes are poisonous, but it's from the poison of snakes that we find the antidote to heal. Right? And snakes are dangerous, nasty creatures, but it was long thought that snakes were immortal. And because they shed their skin, they never died. They just kept regenerating. And so it's like in the darkness of the serpent, we find the solution to immortality, the wellspring of life. And so there is this balance between light and shadow. And you see that same balance in the symbol of a doctor, guides and healers. But again, it's light and shadow. Seeing a doctor in your dream might suggest that you need guidance or expertise to solve a problem in your life. Doctors represent wisdom, authority, and the ability to diagnose and treat issues. This imagery could mean you're open to seeking help and ready to listen to the advice of those who can offer healing and insight. But on the flip side, doctors can symbolize an over-reliance on others to solve your problems. This might point to a fear of self-sufficiency or an unwillingness to trust your own intuition, and always looking toward that person who's got the white lab coat and the credentials posted on the wall, Maybe you struggle to trust yourself. It may also reflect concerns about being judged or evaluated, highlighting feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. And so if you're having dreams about hospitals, if you're afraid of a scary doctor, if you're being cut open and Maybe you're restrained on a table, all these kind of things. Think about, what is this telling me about my past? What is this telling me about myself? And how do I play each of these roles in my own life? One of the things as a trauma therapist that I see most often is, even though that person who experienced the trauma long ago has left that traumatic environment, is trying to live their life on their own, they still put themselves in situations that are compromising. They put themselves in situations where they don't step out in assertiveness and confidence. They put themselves in situations where their needs are put second to somebody else's. And though the trauma is not your fault and it's not right that it happened to you, we do have the responsibility to heal. It's my responsibility to move forward from that. I mean, this thought came recently from a post on Instagram that I saw on my For You page that triggered me. And it triggered me because I realized I often put myself in compromising situations because of my past trauma. And I often put my needs and my own growth second to that of others. And that's on me. What happened when I was a kid was not my fault. But what I do with that now is my responsibility. And I hope this video encourages you. And if I can be of any help with your dreams, I hope you sign up for the free emails at lionmentalhealth.com. It comes with a bunch of free perks and subscriber bonuses that you get, links to the Discord, links to the email archive where you can search for certain dream terms and see what I've written about them. I'm really excited to share in this journey with you. I hope this is encouraging, and I look forward to seeing you next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My gosh, that too. But until then, bye.